So we're gonna get into this. Got a couple little things to do on this end that I think I want to correct before I even get into anything more sophisticated than that. But I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna keep filling this little gap right here. I'll put some wood glue on, and then we'll go straight away to the action, Jackson. I did something weird. I don't know. Either way, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling it apart, and then we'll go ahead and start putting the pieces together. Beating Crazy Custom Creations, Francis. How you doing, Francis? Thanks for joining us. This is what we've got so far, and we're gonna work from that. Put a little WD in there so that while I was letting this glue dry, I wanted to keep this knife in and keep it snug so my fit would stay respectable. So I think I'm good. On this side, I'm gonna knock a little bit more off of this edge, and I'm gonna try to get that to be a perfect fit first, and then I'll work down everything else, work around everything else. And I may even flatten this side a little bit so this comes together a little better than it is right now. Although I do kind of like how it is right now. I just have to be mindful of how this blade is inside of there. My tendency is to want to keep lines running with each other, you know. But I do want to leave some meat on this thing, so I'm gonna have to pull out past it, come down, and then just work my way back up to close. I may actually even work it with this still on top. Either way, I'm gonna stop talking and get to this first. That's gonna mean let's get some good 80 grit so we can knock off some material. This side looks so good, I'm not gonna mess with it at all. It's just that side, and still very little to deal with. I just want a better reveal. I may only just taper it from here so it looks better and not actually cut too deep into it. Let's see what it looks like. I also want to cut off that burn from the belt sander. I want to get rid of that too. But for right now, in terms of shaping, I'm just working on this side facing me. And then you just do enough to take that burn out on both sides. So that's ingrained and it just doesn't like to be sanded that way. So you can see now we've got that going. Let's relook at our orientation. That's a nice fit. The other side, that's a nice fit. I am doing well, being crazy. Hey Frank, how's it going? So now, as far as I can tell, our next job is to go ahead and start shaping this. Now, I've never done this before, so I don't want to freestyle too much. But I do want to make sure I don't start cutting too far into where I'm at or where I'm trying to get. So I'm going to put some tape guidelines so I can sort of see where my knife is or where my metal will be, so I don't intersect with that anywhere. And I'm going to be a little bit extra with it. Go a little bit further. Than what I know, just so that I can be sure that I don't take off too much meat. I can always take more material off later. But I think if I've got an idea where I definitely shouldn't, I definitely won't. So, let me just kind of follow some lines here with the other side. So if I go like that, just to the outside of that, and then do something out there, I think I'll be all right. But for right now, I'm going to put a light score, because I don't want to cut through and hit my wood. But I am going to put a light little score right here. Just so I can be absolutely sure I don't go too far. Because I'm going to want to make a cool shape, or a good shape. But as I make that shape, like I said, I don't want to go too far. And I don't want to lose sight of the design of the handle either. So I'm going to leave the knife in there so that I can pull back and kind of compare. You know what I mean? Bruce Wayne the Gray, what's good? Asukan, how are you? Appreciate y'all for showing up. I am going to kind of duplicate this on the other side, just in case I got to flip the knife on my wheel as I go. Holy smokes. 3 months membership, Bruce Wayne the Gray, flexing on all you scrubs. I appreciate you, Bruce. Bruce is one of them good names too. You know what I mean? I don't know. Bruce just sounds tough. I don't know. Never met a soft Bruce. You know what I mean? Freaking Batman, for crying out loud. So all I'm doing is over here piecemealing more little pieces on the side to give myself a place to stop when I start carving. I'm just going to try to draw the same thing I see over here near where I see it. And that's good enough for the most part. A little bit. And score this again ever so lightly because we do not want to necessarily cut into the wood. We just want to get this little bit of tape up off of here. Oh, I didn't cut that nearly. I didn't cut that at all. Now we've got some idea what we're doing, what our design is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Shall we go over to the belt sander? Well, first I need to clean that thing. I might need to change the belts. Second, I'll change the sandpaper. While I do that, I'll tap the like, man. Play these games with your boy. There we are. Crisp and clean with no caffeine. She wore pure spandex or even tight jeans. Don't believe the girls with Chinese cuts, but I'll take them with the weave hanging down to their butts. don't know that I wouldn't want to keep carrying that line, but I don't know that I can and keep my knife right. Do you know what I mean? Like even that sort of has to be there. Like that. Let's do some of the rest of this shaping. Something slightly less aggressive. Slightly less aggressive. Let me reset my camera a little bit. Sorry about that. But we almost got what we want in the let's do it. Goes in nice and clean. I just gotta put a design. I gotta shape it just a little bit better, just so it doesn't look so frumpy. It looks a little bumpy here. I was worried about making a point on it, making it look like a knife, but I think it maybe needs that look for it to look like a knife sleeve. So I'm gonna put a little bit more round on this, and I'm gonna try to leave this as flat on the tip and just kind of let that be that. And this will help. And then maybe I'll just try to put, instead of a round over, maybe I'll just put a chamfer on this edge. Just a sharp one. Kind of crispy if I can get it. And let that kind of do it. Maybe between that and the wood would be enough. But I think there's something to be said about flowing curves. And the hand sand will kind of get you to a flowing curve. I don't know how to describe it better than that. And so now, I'll step up the sandpaper. That middle piece did not turn out bad in there. Like these corners are like lightly angular, I would say. Still giving a good shape. A good fit. I still got to figure out some way to secure this whole thing to a belt or something, but it's a decent start. So real fast, because I, kind of want to have some pizzazz, kind of don't want to overdo it at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Getting used to it. I'm not mad at it. One other thing. So I think I went in a slight angle. So I've got a little bit more meat outside of it. But it's not tilted at all, so that just means I didn't line up perfect. But I got no wiggle left and right, very little twistability, no up and down. I'm pretty happy with that fit. So maybe I could come up with some sort of I gotta stop trying to stab it in there. Some sort of belt clip or something that can go on the back of here. I don't know. Gotta be something. We'll mark it. But let's go ahead and put our bevel on it. And we're gonna put a bevel right inside of here. Right inside of here. We're gonna do all that with the 220 just because I don't really want to make a heavy impression. But I do want one. I do want a nice little shadow line right here in particular on the edge, because I think it'll look cool. So I'm going to do that and just kind of round it over on that edge, right? And then when we clean that up, we're getting the sawdust off of it or whatever, sand dust off of it. I think it'll create a nice little shadow line, which will create sort of a visual separation between this and a knife. And I think in that case, that's going to be a good thing. Let's check it. Because it's sitting in there perfect, but it leaves this nice little shadow. But it's in there tight. So I'm happy with that. And we're just going to continue that around this perimeter. Give us a nice chamfer. I'm just keeping it roughly at a 45, going all the way around this edge. And I can do this with a planer, a little tiny plane. And I could do it with my chamfer jig, but I think this would do fine for what I'm after right now. I think it'll give us a nice little uniform look. And if it don't, this is the part that takes the least wood away, so we have an opportunity of redemption with a different profile if we had to. 35 of y'all like me, and the rest of y'all just like to look at me. Sweet. That's okay by me. But if you do tap that like button, BFFs forever. All right, let's see. Raphael says, LC148, desde ahora todas las generaciones me habrán bienventura. I'm sorry, man, my Spanish is terrible. So, listen. Let's look at these. That's the square blocky, right? And this is what we've smoothed out a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It's not a heck of a lot of bevel though. I must be truthful. I think I am gonna bump up to the 220. I'm at the 120. And take off a little more material. See if we can get a bevel that makes it look regal when it's wet. I can't lie. I like a nice little chamfer. I do. It's the kind of guy I am. Don't ask me to be different. Yeah. That shall be duplicated post haste on the opposing edge. So we're going to knock off a little more material on that side right there. I don't speak Spanish well enough to follow your good brother, Raphael. I appreciate you tuning in. I am in America, thus I'm an American. And they don't teach us nothing but English. That's it. You know something else, you went out of your way. Or your origins are not here, but most Americans speak their one dumb language. Except my wife. I should take that back. My wife speaks conversational Spanish and Thai. George, how you doing? Welcome. We are here sheathing the blade. I needed to do something. I got my first training class of the woodworking shop. I'll be working and learn majority of the important tools. That's amazing. I'm very happy for you. That is fantastic. What do y'all think? I should taper that off, right? Right? Should I get rid of that? Put a little bevel? Because that's working. That's working wonderfully. But this right here, not so much. Not as much. Put a nice little bevel on it. See how that does. If it doesn't do great, we'll do something else. But right now, I thank all 42 of you for your likes and your subscribes and your follows and whatever else you feel so inclined to do. It's greatly appreciated. I'm going to keep that same bevel going around this edge too. I might as well, right? Might as well sharpen it up. Because this is walnut, people. And I don't know if you know, but when you put boiled linseed oil onto walnut, you get quite a show. And we almost there. We are almost there. All right, let's get the 220 on it just to get the smoothness out of it, or into it, however you choose to interpret that. I'll give you a sneak peek of what this is going to look like once that, what's called on there. Because the water is going to bring up the fibers. And then I'm going to sand those fibers out. But we're going to get darker. That wood's going to get darker like that. All right, let's go. Quick sand. We can do that while it's wet. Because this walnut is dark, I like to get all up in them pores, son. So I like it to be flat enough to reflect light once it's got a sheen. That's what I expect out of my walnut. That is what I will get out of my walnut. All right, here we go. I'm gonna just set that there, give it a second, and then I think I'm gonna just put a little touch on this too. I'm gonna put a little touch on this too, and then that way everything can get the linseed oil at the same time. So with this one, we'll do a little quick sand, just to get the debris, dirt off, whatever dust is there. And then we'll put another coat of linseed oil on this as well. This is basically just cleaning up that knife. All of this is homemade stuff that we made right here on the shop, in the shop, on the lives. If you're interested in seeing any of it, past, present, or future, that's how. It's all here. I don't delete any videos. And I don't have a ton of long form videos. But you can see how to do everything I do by just scrolling through the live streams. Now this means I'm going to grab something, wipe this down, make sure we got all our dust off. Curious, I wonder if they've ever heat treated a knife or sword with a hit where it hit, except lay it in clay with that heat would mess up the temper between the handle and the blade. I know some burn the handle, but I get charred layers to soak up the oil. That's interesting. I don't know. Fortunately, I'm fairly new to knife making, and this one was made from a blade that had already had that because it was a machete. But it's an interesting point. Alright, should be dust free there. Right here, I'm just trying to get this oil off there too. I put the WD-40 on earlier, but I don't want it getting involved with this part. I also kind of want to clean up this edge. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Man, yeah. Loving the channel more and more every day. Oh man, I appreciate it. I made all three of my knives off of one old machete. I got pieces still here. These are the pieces I haven't been able to use yet. This one's got a crack in it, so I haven't. But I might. I'll have to cut that crack out. But, you know, that's what we're doing over here. That's what we're doing. All right. I'm going to piece these together. And then I'm going to put linseed oil on them both at the same time. Let's see what we got. I'll tell you, microfiber cloths and shops and sawdust do not go well together. They just don't. Now here's the part. Try to give you a good angle. In fact, get my hands out of the equation. Roy's Timber Art Techniques. How you doing, man? Good to see you. I'm gonna try to give you the best view that I can give you. I'm gonna let my monitor catch up and see if it can see you pretty good. Looks good. All right, here we go. Hey, boring guy, DIY. Hey, Eugene, Termudi. Francis is still in here joining us. Oh, that turned out good. That turned out good. Oops. That is what we have done today. Hey, William. So I'm going to just kind of work this in. And we're just going to keep following the wood grain. And now, believe me when I tell you, this is the practice. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate that. This is boiled linseed oil. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. I hope to see you again. This is the cherry handle that we made. And this is the blade that we made. And this is the sheath that we made. And I think all of this came together great. Now, you might wonder why these particular wood choices. It's because this is what I had. One fantastic thing now is that thanks to Eco Wood Crafts, I always want to say creations, I've got a bunch more interesting wood. I've got stuff on my hands right now, so I don't want to contaminate it, but you guys can take a look at the live I did last night and you will see some of the most amazing. I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be the most amazing wood you've seen. And if it's not, you tell me I'm lying, but it's the most amazing looking wood I've ever personally had my hands on. And that is an undisputed fact. I do too, Francis. It makes that grain so pop and pretty. And now I've just got to figure out a way to fasten it on my belt. Ugh. Wouldn't that be hot? Wouldn't that be cold? Maybe I can hook it on my suspenders. Hang it off like a cowboy. Tuck it back in. Either way, I like it. And I'm not just, caressing this wood. I'm actually just rubbing this in the grain even more as I go. This helps a little bit in the process if you got the time to do it. Because we are going to put multiple coats on here, but this first coat's got to get worked in well first. This is probably the second or third coat that I've put on this, and it just gets better each time. Scout style. I was not a scout, so break it down for me. How do you carry it scout style? How does a scout carry it? Back of it? Around his back? How does a scout carry it? Like this? Up front? What are we talking about? On the hip? I definitely am going to get to some leather work. But you mean leather to make a little belt loop right here? That could work. Horizontal on your belt rather than vertical. Oh, so like that. Gotcha. That's kind of cool. I do like that idea. I even like diagonal a little bit. Like a cowboy. Freeze! All right. Now, I am going to come back on here, probably, and do some more stuff today because I'm sort of stuck at home via the insurance company and these phone calls that I had to be available for. But I will catch y'all tomorrow, a little later on, and we'll do something else cool. I think, thank you, Saul. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek, though, of the kind of wood that I've got available to me now. That just gave me an idea just now for a little nightstand. So I'm going to have to deglove look at this. It don't look like much, but watch this. Look what happened to that. That's wood. So, I've got a whole box of stuff like that right here from Eco. And one of the most impressive is this. Doesn't look all that impressive. Then you get some water on it. So these are going to be the blanks I use for my new knife blades, my new knife handles. This beautiful, beautiful wood. Amazing stuff. I'm almost addicted to getting it wet because I enjoy looking at it so bad. And I said I wasn't going to keep reaching in here and grabbing this stuff, but I'm just going to spray this one down real quick for you so you can see. That is wood. And I'm going to make some cool blanks out of it. This is dyed yellow cedar. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it looks like marble. It's such a beautiful situation. So imagine like, and this is beautiful. But I could ruin this and I would be able to replace it fairly easily and redo it. That I could not. So I want to make sure my techniques are good here before I move on to that. And I'm pretty happy. Yeah, it is very cosmic, that wood. So before I start ruining stuff, I'm going to put this away. I'm going to let it dry somewhere. Thanks to everybody who came out and joined me to see me do this. It was very, very fun. And I was very excited to have all your company. Imagine a necklace like the one you have, but with that other stone looking. You and me, Saul, are on the same page, 100%. I have to think of something new to do with it that's worthy of it. But oh my God, that would be an incredible mallet or a nice geographical piece. This one being Africa. So I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. So I hope y'all are subscribed. I hope y'all are following, liking, and watching videos. If you get bored, you can go check out my shorts. Some of them are pretty entertaining. I don't do a whole lot of long form, but I have a ton of lives if you want to see how I do any of this stuff, including these. Did it all live. Just for me. And you got to watch. So, peace, blessings. Where's those at? I'm gone.